So let's get started with our first material here in Substance. To get some more window real estate, I'm going to detach this Explorer window. Later I will be using resources from here, so I'm going to drag and drop stuff like this, just so you know that workflow. But this one is going to be on my second screen over here. And we're going to expand these, so these are a little bit bigger. I'm going to expand this so you can see the parameters a bit better. So what we're going to start with is the base, and the base is what I call the cockpit. So actually we're going to drag this guy in first. So this is our base mask. We have the hole for the window and the exhaust or the engine in the back. And then we're going to drag and drop our base mesh into this 3D window here. And then we get background for some reason, but never mind. And then what we'll do is we can right click in here and say view outputs in 3D view. And we're going to pick the base material. Nothing really shows up, but if I do this, you'll see that this is the material we're working on here. We can also first set up here, so if we go into base, so both of this meshes material show up here. So we go in on base and say edit, and we can say scale. Let's set it to like 5 or something. We don't have any information in our height yet. And we also set this to tessellation down here. And now it's black, so it's crunching it down super tiny. Just let's ignore that for now. And we can do a histogram range just so you can see. Probably our scale is a little too extreme here. Let's do something like that. We'll adjust as we go along. We can also see that we have terrible tearing here, so we have to adjust this tessellation factor here. So set something high. But beware, if you don't have a decent enough computer, this will actually affect your performance. I think I'm on a pretty okay machine here, so I'm going to crank it up a bit more. And if you want to hide this annoying background here, you can go to environment, edit, and you can do this. And if you have the library view, I guess it sometimes bugs out. The library view, you can find your under environment maps, you can drag and drop them into this window to change the lighting setting. Okay, so let's get started on this guy. So we're actually going to start with this. We need some space, so I'm just going to move this off to here. So we're going to start with a shape. No, wait, we're going to start with a polygon, actually. Polygon. If we can spell it correctly. Do this polygon 1. I'm going to set this one to 30 degrees. So 6-sided, and that looks okay. We're going to actually blend these two together. So I'm going to, this is the front or back, I don't know, since we don't have the window on here, we don't know. But since this texture is just going to tile around, it doesn't really matter. So what I want to do here is subtract this from this. But since this one is in the black area, it's actually inside here. So we need to just do a safe transform and do 0.5. And now it's on there. Perfect. We have this tearing here because we don't, like, this mask is binary, you see here. it's either white or black, so we're going to introduce a bevel node here. And set that to something low, to minus 0.5, a little too wide. Already better. We can do a little bit of smoothing as well. Maybe set this to 1. That looks alright. Still a bit inflated. Let's take down the scale a bit more. We're going to do a histogram scan of this. So we're going to use, let's see, where's my... Set this to something really low. So if we compare this to this, now we just took this bevel that goes inwards here and just like crunch that up. Not all the way, because then we get the same kind of like binary effect. Maybe that's a little bit, I mean, we just want to keep it a little bit soft. So I'm going to introduce some kind of panel lines across this. Like imagine this is some kind of dome creation that's made up of multiple panels. We can look at our reference here. It's made up of panels. Let's see, how do I hide this? Let's move this over here. So this is our target here. So we're creating a bunch of random panels. So the node I want to use for that is called tile random. And we can set this to, yeah, it could be 4 and 4. Remove some of this interslice. It's pretty hard to see, but essentially it's like a pixel thick in between the two. Can do a mirror here. Mirror. Just so we get symmetrical panels. Let me just expand this. So with the mirror. And then we can just blend these two together. Just use multiply. So now we have these. Let's see, maybe we just mirror it using this, because then it's symmetrical top and bottom. And then we'll throw a bevel on this. And we can do something like this, just indent these, or inset. Do a little bit of softening here as well. I want to introduce some pattern on top of this, but I just want it on the ridges of this shape. I don't want it like all the way down to how thin the panels are. We can actually, let's just hook this one up to here for now. So here we go, crazy panels. We can limit the range of this. Let's create a tile sampler here. Just want to do a little bit of a pattern, and we can pick a polygon 2. Play with the gradient a bit. Just so it has like an angle, but a little bit of a flat top on it. And this one we just set to something pretty high. And we set it to our pattern input. I'm going to do a offset. So here we have like a basic hexagon pattern that I want to blend on top of this. I can set it to darken. You see now it only shows up on the top. And set it to 0.3, 0.4, a little bit deeper like that. And we can go back and set this one to the lower value that we actually want. Just so we have thinner panels. I can put a histogram scan here just to tighten this up a bit. Something like that. And also included in this tutorial is my curve collection node, which is just a node with tons of presets for curves. So you can just drag and drop in here, or you can put it in if you have a folder of random utility nodes that you pull in. So we can throw that in here. This is not the preset we want. Let's go to like basic category. And you can go by eye here, see what works best. Maybe this third one looks pretty cool. This one looks pretty cool as well. Just play around here and pick something that works for you. You can try different, patterns in here as well. I'm going to do a subtract because just like a completely different look for it. Let's stick with this one. And we're going to do another bevel here. Just copy this. Set this to something lower. So we're going to hijack this for now. A little too much smoothing on this. Because the smoothing, if you use it too much, it's going to, expand too much outside the shape. Something like that, maybe. And then we're going to run one of these curve collections here. Let's copy that guy. Just to get a nice, profile on this instead of just having this. We now have something with way more interest. Here we have just a thin panel line. And this we can combine. So let's run like a distance node here from this guy. Set this to 4. So we're going to layer a couple of these. So we have this wide bevel here, and here we have pushed it in together. So we have a tighter version. We can try another profile on here. And this one looks pretty cool. So we can let's start by blending this guy with this guy. We'll do a multiply. Let's see here. Let's change this one to something else. Something a little more flat. I think I like that a bit better. There's also, I think we can, if we scale this down a bit more on the tile sampler, yeah, now we get the actual lines in between. Because we multiply and set this to something really low. So we just want the indent of that shape. And then we can blend this together with this node. This we just crossfade on top. So now we have like a couple of layers of shaping. And then we do another blend down here and we bring in like this mask here, like the big shape. We can do a min darken. This guy you can also play around with some more interesting curve. Let's kill this node here. It's flattening our composition. Now you can see the differences here with the different curves. Well, let's go back here to the end and just make it a little bit more rough. It's easier to see the shapes. I think that's pretty cool as a start shape. Let's just push this off a bit more. See if we hook this one up instead. Yeah, it looks alright. Some cool kind of paneling. Obviously the way the UVs are made for this is, tiling, so we'll have a little bit of a squashing up on the top. But that's fine. And now we can go in and hit random seed on this to see a different panel layout. And you can see if you find something that looks better. You can play around with the parameters in here. I think compared to modeling something like this based on the reference here, like it's not as creative for me. Like I like to use the strength of this type of procedural software to generate the designs for me. I'm not super into like modeling and doing stuff manually typically. We'll save that.